I'm here to present PraxisSense, and I'm Leonard Monen. We enable your remote monitoring needs by delivering unprecedented data quality. That's necessary because the sensors that are currently used in the most remote monitoring devices for patients are PPG sensors. And these sensors are really lacking. That's leading to actually a slowdown of adaptation of these monitoring devices. The problem is that actually these devices are in all devices, for example, smartwatches, remote monitoring devices, or SpO2 monitors. These devices have a huge problem with quality of data or lacking data. And if you want to measure, for example, blood pressure, the data is actually quite lacking. Also, movement artifacts are a huge problem, creating a huge problem in the data quality. Another problem in this is actually skin color. Darker skin colors do the wrong measurements. We actually solved this by developing a new sensor. So the old PPG sensor is actually quite simple. It's just a LED and a photodiode looking at the pulsing wave of the blood vessels. Our sensor is actually a new sensor that we have developed based on speckle imaging. So instead of a LED, we use coherent light, a laser, that reflects into the skin and reflects back upwards into a speckle pattern. This speckle pattern is quite special because we can extract a lot of data from this. For example, blood speed, which is never done before in a non-invasive way, or we can actually preserve the PPG signal from the current devices and combine those two. From this, we can actually improve the current parameters that devices have now, for example, heart rate variability, respiration rate, or SpO2. On the other side, we can unlock new parameters, such as blood pressure, cardiac output, or vessel stiffness, leading to leading innovation in this remote monitoring field. We're actually very proud of our first results. This is our first tape out of our first chip that has been done by X-FAB, and we see a very clear SPG signal leading to a very beautiful blood speed measurement, that really high correlation, a nice blood volume signal that was robust in movement and works on all skin types. On top of this, we are actually developing algorithms with renowned partners because we cannot do everything alone. We want to do this with renowned partners. For example, Philips, CSM, and Withings. With them, we're developing the next step of algorithms on top of it, validating with renowned other partners, for example, the Erasmus Hospital and the Catharina Hospital. To recap shortly, our new sensor is better in motion. It doesn't have any problem with skin colors and measures for the first time blood speed, which really unlocks new parameters such as blood pressure. And it can be used in the same devices as the old PPG sensor. And we've seen actually keen interest in this. In the first month of launching this product around the world, we have gained 6 letters of intent from various size companies. The biggest one is Withings and Philips, SmartCare, and we have seen smaller companies also attracted to our sensor, such as Biosensi, Bioflies, and Physiologic. We're already in contact with larger companies to look if we can work together, for example, Polar, Garmin, and Patika, and Samsung. We're going to launch our first research product at CES the first quarter of next year. That research product is really aimed to give to the first clients of us so they can get used to our signal, used to our sensor, and start to build their algorithms on top of our sensor. After which, in 2025, we will launch our MVP sensor that will be first implemented into their devices for their clinical trials, so we can launch on a larger scale with them in 2026, around 10,000 pieces a year. After which, in around Q4 2027, we'll try to launch our product for smartwatches. For this, we need a larger production scale, around 100,000 pieces a year at least, and it has to be a little bit smaller. For this, we are already in conversation with our partners NXP, Philips, or Azemus Osram to scale up the production of our sensor. Our business model is fairly simple. We try to keep it to the basics. We just sell sensors. On top of that, we're trying to ask a licensing agreement for the algorithms, and we have a market-conformed price of 7 to 12 euros. This is done in a huge market. We're aiming for remote patient monitoring and smartwatches. In this market, around 490 million devices are sold every year. Of 70% of these devices are equipped with a PPG sensor. And we reckon that we can capture about 50% of this market, leading to a servable obtainable market of about 2.4 billion. Of course, we're not alone in this world. Everybody's trying to develop the new sensor. The most advanced competitor of us is Rockley Photonics, but they completely have aimed at glucose monitoring. And currently, they're not succeeding at that step. They have tried the process with Apple. Unfortunately for them, it didn't really work out. Other competitors of us are more, in a sense, an advanced PPG sensor than the next generation. So we really believe that we have a strong position here in the market, that we can be the leader in this field. Of course, this needs to be protected. Our first patent is granted on this field, and is really set to protect our position. So what makes us special is that we know how to make this sensor smaller than anyone else, and how to get the parameters out of it. So our first patent is granted on this part, plus SPO2. We have currently are working on the next patents, which we expect to file beginning this year, and we have another 10 patents in the pipeline. Our financial prediction is done purely based on the current LOIs, so we don't look at other companies for that. With that, already we expect to sell about 2 million sensors in 2030, leading to a revenue of around 45 million. Even if we can grow a bit quicker than that, for example, if Samsung do that will be amazing, of course, but we don't take that into account on our current financial predictions. We did it with a strong team of young people, myself included. I used to work for Philips part-time for my graduation. I worked on their smartwatches and their PPG sensors, and from there we gained the ideas for this. My co-founder, Lieselotte Stolk, she's in charge of operating the company, and we have an experienced commercial officer, Colin Staal, who already exited a medtech company before. We do that with a strong advisory board on the strategic, medical, and scientific side. I like to point out two people in this place. That is Nadine Bhattacharya. She's the leading expert in photonics and speckle imaging globally, and Franklin Schuling, who has led the innovation program at Philips and has been in charge of the health lab before. So he has a lot of experience in remote monitoring. We're currently raising our seed round of 3 million, which we want to match with innovation credit, the Dutch government loan, so we'll raise 6 million in total. And with this, we can reach the first milestones with our clients and implement our product with them, and we can accelerate our research and development. Thank you very much, and if there are any questions, I'm glad to answer them.